It's that time again.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
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 Right there, attention, folks. We came here.
Welcome to the Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Wayno, and with me, the People's Champ,
Champ is here.
V-Rock, Vince. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, it's good to be back in a very quiet week.
Whew.
With basketball's been anything happened of note?
Not that I can think of, but let's bring in Sydney's second richest man, Stu Benson.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm also waiting with bated breath. What's been going on? Somebody enlighten me. Has anybody been signed or traded?
I don't know where to look. I don't know where to look anymore. I'm going crazy. I'm checking my phone every 5 minutes. So much has gone down in like 2 days. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I think it's time we sound the alarm, gentlemen. It's that time again. Look, we should maybe sound it off multiple times this week because it's just, I don't know. It feels like every time I check my phone, another deal has gone down. It's been crazy.
The most important deal, and everyone should know this, that the Lakers are back. We've got the best player in the world. We're back. We're talking championships, baby. Championships. Notice I said championships.
I heard the plural.
See that wave coming in? You see that big wave? It's a title wave. Notice I said
Oh,
title.
no.
Title.
You guys are going to be unbearable tonight.
Oh, we're back.
You know what?
Me and Benson. We got the chest puffed out. We fluffed it. We fluffed it up a little bit out front. We're on show.
As I said the other day to you guys on Messenger, enjoy the moment. I'm going to let you guys have the moment because you sucked for a while there. Sucked pretty bad. You've been through some bad coaches, some bad players. So yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah. We had Mike fucking D'Antoni. We had Byron fucking Scott.
Yeah, Dwight
We
Howard.
had fucking Bernie fucking Bickerstaff.
You had the skeleton of Steve Nash.
Yes. Corpse that was Steve Nash. We deserve this. We deserve LeBron James and we deserve championships.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Well, for all the new listeners out there, you can tune into the site, www.CRTSDE.podbean.com. Down there, guys, you'll find links to all our shows, everything free and available for you and your eardrums. Down there, there's also links to the Facebook page, All Caps Courtside. Swing by, check it out, and yeah, jump in on the weekly banter. So much has gone down. I literally, when I was mapping out today's show, just did not know where to start. So we're just going to jump into the big moves, I think, that went down. And then I've got some honourable mentions, some little minor tweaks that went down through the league as well.
Alrighty, let's do it.
Russell Westbrook throws one hell of a party, apparently, because Paul George spurns the Lakers and gets a re-up in OKC for 4 years, $137 million. Guys, if it was for the cash, he might as well just stay in Indy.
I just want to say, when we knocked him out of the playoffs, he's going to be pretty pissed off. Can I just, before Benson jumps in, can I just say, and yes, you're right, he may as well have stayed in Indy. I was listening to Bill Simmons today, and he had Conspiracy Bill.
Ooh.
He had a thought that because, the Lakers allegedly tampered with Paul George, he thinks that the NBA said to Paul George, you can sign anywhere, but you're not signing at the Lakers. I'm not sure I believe it, but interesting thought.
I'm not buying that.
Asked him, but I don't believe it.
Good old Conspiracy Bill.
And, he hates. I know he hates us so much, but he does not want us to get Kawhi Leonard so bad.
No, that's going to be that will ruin him mentally. He cares who we get, and he knew that LeBron was coming, and Phil's been saying that LeBron was coming for probably the last 2.5 years, but man, he does not want Kawhi to be a Laker.
I mean, look, not the only deal that went down with Paul George staying at OKC, of course. Melo surprisingly opted in to his final year, 27.9 million, and fans
Not surprisingly.
right. I know, right? I mean,
Lala told him to opt in. That's the only reason why he opted in.
of course you do. You can't walk away from that. And look, they take a chance on Nerlens Noel for 2 years as well.
I like it. I like that pickup. I probably would have preferred him to go somewhere where he'd fit a system a bit better. Or I mean, I said probably 2 years ago he should go to the Warriors. I think he'd fit in nicely there. But go to them, obviously, but not a bad fit. I mean, he'll help if his mind's right. He's got the right attitude.
I mean, because he did not do much at all in Dallas.
No, he had a liking for hot dogs, though, at half-time, so that might have been his problem.
Right.
Yeah. Andrew Bogut said that Nerlens Noel, half-time, he would come in and he'd go out and get a hot dog first and then come into the rooms and hoe down on a hot dog.
Wow.
Imagine that sitting in your guts while you're running up and down.
Well, I think he probably thought he'd be sitting on the bench for the next 28 minutes in his guts. So
True.
yeah.
I also saw.
I like the signing for the Thunder. I like giving him a chance. I think he fits in with their run and gun style. But what I don't think fits in is Melo. And I don't know. I think it's probably the elephant in the room. But I mean, the fact that he wasn't at Westbrook's party to introduce Paul George, to welcome him back, the fact that he opted in. He wasn't re-signed. It wasn't like they extended a qualifying offer to the guy. I mean, he just got his money. I am all but positive that then they can't afford this tax hit and they're going to buy him out.
Oh, you reckon it's a buyout? You think they'll try and trade him?
Yeah. Well, I still think his no trade clause comes with him, doesn't it, from the Knicks?
I thought that's done now because he's waived it.
No, I thought of a situation like he could waive it to a certain destination, but it still forms up part of his contract.
Wow, that's shit. I hope they get rid of that. That's just garbage.
Well, yeah.
I would like to see Melo say to himself, "Rightio, I'm only going to be averaging 15, 16 a game. Come to terms with it, but also add something to his game. Like add a bit more of playmaking, a bit more
that's
unselfishness. Just try and fit in a bit more because Westbrook is not going to stop shooting. Paul George is the second option. So I think it's up to him to just sacrifice that a little bit more and get some more playmaking happening. To try and fit in that bit more. It'll help the team a lot, I reckon.
I was going to say, I was trawling through Twitter today and I heard that there's on his list, should he be bought out, he would like to wind up back in Denver.
Really?
Wow. That would be so cool. But I'd be pissed off if I'm a Denver
Yeah,
fan.
so would I, man. So would I.
I'd be really pissed off.
I think you nailed it. I think you're wrong and you're right. I think you nailed it, Vince. It's like he does need to add something to a game. What he needs to add to his game is sacrifice.
Yeah.
He needs to sacrifice to the greater good of the team and not play mellow ball. There was no way Melo... Well, we saw it last year. We saw Utah bounce OKC Thunder, and that was the thing we spoke about after that series, is that his comments after it was basically he's not changing his game and he refuses to come off the bench, and that's why it's not working in OKC. That's why fans are pissed off he's back for another year, and that's why it's not going to work out again.
But it's not. It wasn't all his fault. Like
No,
it can't be easy with Westy there.
That's true, but it's not his team.
No, that's correct.
He had to fit in with Westbrook and the OKC run and gun style, and he didn't. He kind of refused to do it. So what happened? They basically you watch that Utah series. Both Paul George and Westbrook basically isolate him out of a lot of the plays, and the only shots he gets is those last minute or corner shots.
That team should have won at least 55. 55 at a minimum. Would they win 48, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, something's got to change. The ball movement, the chemistry, he's got to change a little. Even Westbrook has to. I just don't see that happening. But, yeah, look, I don't know if he will change. But did you mention Jeremy Grant re-signed for about 25 mil?
I did see that, yeah. I did not mention it, though.
I like him, but I'm not sure he's worth 25 mil over 4 years or 3 years or something.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've seen Stu definitely point out online is that, a lot of these deals seem, inflated, but it's just the way, the market is headed now. Like a lot of these players, these bottom level players that are due for for their re-ups, they're getting inflated money because that's what's happening in the league. Like, everyone's getting it.
Well, that's right. I mean, back in the day, if someone signed for $80 million, we're talking that was
Huge.
5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and now somebody signs an $80 million. That's a 1+1 deal.
Crazy.
And then you hear these guys, these sort of role player guys, and people were scoffing at Ersan Ilyasova's $22 million from the Bucks over 3 years, and Dougie McBucket's signing, and things like that. And we go, hang on a second, these deals are in the 20s of millions of dollars. But man, that's the new economy at the moment. That's that's sort of vet kind of minimum.
Yeah. Well,
what's Ilyasova's fascination with Milwaukee?
Just loves them, man. I think it's just he was
Mallory Edens.
Yes, Mallory.
Is this the first time he's been there?
I think it is.
Jesus.
He just goes test the water somewhere else and then head back to Milwaukee now.
Just imagine the meeting, like, come on, guys, just don't trade me.
He's gone for that no trade clause again, and they're like, no.
We'll do one with you, you scrub.
You'll be in Atlanta by January.
Yeah. We move along to, talking about, real NBA money. 4 years, $160 million. I think it's a bit much. I think that he should have maybe come to the party a little bit more for the Houston Rockets. But, of course, I'm talking about Chris Paul.
Yes, a bit of a discussion on this with Rick Jones on the Facebook page.
Ricky boy.
Stu, what are we working with, mate? Seriously.
I don't know. A man of one voice.
How dare you, Stewie boy.
I was going to say many voices, but let's be honest.
It's just one.
It's the one. What's Chris Paul? Just turned 34? 33.
Yeah,
30. He's like 5 months older than LeBron.
Look, I can't see Chris Paul being really productive at 36, 37. Should have taken less money, but if they win a championship, even if it's just one, it is so worth it, and you've got to roll the dice and go for it, and more power to them. They're going for it. Don't think they'll do it, but good luck to them.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Rick. He cops a lot of shit because we hate the Houston Rockets, but he did make a pretty valid point. Like, what else are they really supposed to do at this point? Like, they've got to go for it. And look, it's quite easy to sit back and say that, you did it last season, Vince. It's like, yep, with the Chris Paul signing, it's good, but, he's got a track record and he's going to fall apart in the playoffs. And what happened this year? Fell apart in the playoffs. I will say this, I think that Houston take that series if he's healthy for those last two games.
I don't, but that's fine. But
he's just a bulldog. Like, he's just literally like a bulldog, and this guy is like an elite point guard.
You cannot play him. Well, Dan, that idiot they've got running the team, you cannot play this bloke 40-plus minutes, and he will, and he'll drive him into the ground again. Find a point guard backup that's going to play 10 to 15 a night. You cannot ride Chris Paul like that anymore.
D'Antoni did it with Nash. You ran him in the ground.
Oh, we know. We know. We got him after that.
You got them both.
Yeah, we know. But no, honestly, Vince is spot on. They, number one on their list, as well as re-signing Clint Capella, has to be some help at the point guard position, and not just we'll split the ball handling duties to James Harden. That's not what it has to be. It has to be minutes. And it has to be resting this guy. I personally, I agree that they had to get him, they had to keep him, and that they were, flipping the coin. Who knows what happens? Maybe a game away from winning a championship last season. Because if they had have gotten to the NBA Finals, they would have beaten that Cavaliers team. So there's no doubt about that. So they've got to re-up on Chris Paul, but why not take a 4-year, $120 million deal, save him $10 million a season? Like, that's a lot of shopping money. I can't see how he's worth the same amount of money as LeBron James, because that's exactly what just happened.
Mind-boggling when you put it like that, really. I thought a real interesting move and a head-scratching move was Ariza bouncing to Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's not like he wasn't getting minutes. I find it very hard to believe that Houston wouldn't have offered him the same money.
It's only a 1 year, $15 million deal as well. So, it's not even like they're would be really breaking the bank.
Oh man, I reckon he could have got that on 29 other teams. I do find it very weird.
I love Trevor Ariza.
Of course you do. Former Laker.
Bloody oath. Lakers champion. Thank you.
And if anyone out there is wondering, all my friends are Laker fans. So if you haven't picked up already, 2 Laker fans in the house on this show. It's a weird move, though, Vince. Don't you think? Like, he's gone from a team like Houston to a team like Phoenix. What's he going to do? Talk to Tyson Chandler about the glory days? Like, come on.
Yeah, what could Houston offer him again? It wasn't the same money, was it? It was pretty low. So I think he's gone for the one last big payday. Maybe. Because his shot wasn't as good last season. Still a good defensive player. But I think they're going to miss him. He's pretty, what do they call him? He's a glue guy.
Well, he's a great utility guy, right? I mean, he can do a bit of everything.
Yeah, I think they're really going to miss him. I'm not sure I'd want to play Luke Mbah-a-Moute in his spot for all those minutes. But, hey, it's D'Antoni. He probably will.
Look, let's move on from Houston. Look, a player who at one stage was interested in playing in Houston, DeAndre Jordan, and the Clippers finally part ways, buries the hatchet with the Mavericks and signs a 1-year, $24.1 million deal.
I like it because it helps Dirk out. And anyone who wants to help Dirk, I'm a fan of because I love Dirk. That's Dirk. Yeah, look, $1 million. 1 year, I don't think he'll be there after one season. Just turned 30. I worry about these guys who play above the rim. I always thought they'd burn out a little quicker. And DeAndre, he starts to lose some athleticism. Last time I checked, didn't have a lot of post moves. He does rely on that awesome athleticism, but I like it. He brings shot blocking, rebounding. So, and I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of alley-oops with Doncic running the show.
Yeah. You know what? I've got to take my hat off to DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan. No, I don't. I'm going to take my hat off to the Mavericks this year. I like a lot of the moves they've done. I like, obviously a lot of this comes off the back of the draft and what they pulled off in the draft. But moving forward, I like it. I mean, I like the question marks with Smith Jr. and Doncic playing together. Harrison Barnes has had a pretty solid last 2 years. There's still got a lot of the older heads there, which I think is kind of okay. You still need that veteran leadership. You still need guys that are going to show up and put in the work, like your Wesley Matthews and those sort of guys. JJ Barrera, that midget stays young forever. But I just always feel like with this Mavs team, they've always sort of been, since that title, like they've always been looking to replace Tyson Chandler. I feel like that's what this is. They've gone for a younger Tyson Chandler, that defensive anchor that they've needed for the past few years. And I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's a little too late. But
it is. It's a lot too late.
Yeah,
Dirk's 40.
Yeah, it feels a hole. But I mean, I don't know that Dirk stays on beyond this year. I think this year is pushing it as it is. But Carlisle's smart. They'll play him, sparingly and go from there. I thought they would get in on the Julius Randle action, but
me too. Yeah,
was not to be. But I like everything they've done. Free agency is still pretty young, so I am expecting maybe another move to be made. But heading into the season, if you're a Dallas fan, you've got to feel a lot better this year over past years.
Yeah, you do. Look, they'll win some more games. DeAndre Jordan will help a lot, but I think for Mavs fans, just enjoy Luka's rookie year. Yeah. I think they're trying to shop. They are shopping Wesley Matthews around. I'm not sure they can get rid of him with that contract. Let's see how Dennis Smith Jr. keeps developing. I think he'll be a really good NBA player. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but like we said last show, I'm worried a bit about Doncic having the ball in his hands. I'm not sure how Dennis Smith will handle that. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch. Bit of a soft spot for Dallas because Dirk's there.
Sorry, super early prediction. Think they can crack playoffs?
No, no chance.
No chance?
No. I mean, I'd love to for Dirk's, what most likely is his farewell, but yeah, I don't think so.
West too good now?
Yeah. I think back to what you said about Tyson Chandler. They broke that team up. They traded him away. They get him back because they realise, and they let him go again. They just stuffed that whole championship team
Well,
up.
it's not all on Cuban, to be fair. I mean, yeah, he was the anchor, and if you win a chip, you should do your best to prove that squad or keep the core together, which is what he didn't do. The other part to that following year was they dropped the ball. Dirk dropped the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, they partied too hard and they let the celebrations go way too long, and they didn't come into the season ready to back it up. Like, Chandler...
That is true.
Like, Tyson Chandler or no Tyson Chandler, like, they didn't come in that next year focused and ready to go.
Yeah, no, you're right. Dirk dropped the ball there. As the leader, he should have been there, back working out early, showing the way, setting the example.
Stu, some thoughts on Mavs?
Well, thank you for allowing me to jump into this segment. The listeners at home wouldn't have realised that I just jumped out of my vehicle to yell at a child. Then upon re-entering my vehicle to record, I was greeted by what can only be described as an 8-legged animal, which has escaped my grasp and it's got me fearing for my life. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But the task at hand, the Dallas Mavericks. Great signing with DeAndre Jordan. If only it was 4 years ago when he could have been a little bit more of a contributor. Interesting. I like the direction of the team. I obviously love their draft pick. Only one ball on the court, so Doncic and Dennis Smith Jr. have to work out how that's going to work. And yeah, I don't know. I love Dirk, and I'm a huge Dirk fan, as we all are. But seeing his corpse jiggle up and down the court like a marionette last season was awkward. And I don't know. I just hope they play him sparingly and the fans appreciate what I imagine will be his last go-around.
Yep, pretty much nail on the head what we said. So
yeah?
There you
okay,
go.
cool.
Right on the same page. I like it. All right, I've digressed long enough. Let's go into all the crazy that's happening in La La Land right now. I mean, talk about wheeling and dealing. I'm a bit afraid of how long this segment's going to go, and I did offer you guys a Lakers special show, but you knocked me back on
I
it.
thought we were going to talk about... Oh, okay.
Let's jump into some Laker talk.
You know what happens, Wayne. You get flogs who complain.
I thought you were about to jump into Austin Rivers being traded.
No, he's up later. Don't worry about him.
The other LA team.
I suppose for me, the biggest head-scratcher one was the one-year deal for Rondo. I love the Lance Stevenson signing, and from what I've heard, LeBron had to sign off on that signing before LA pulled the trigger on it. Fair enough. JaVale McGee comes in, and then, of course, you guys hit the jackpot. Magic Johnson saves his skin and brings in LeBron James on what is a 4-year deal. I think it's 156 mil, is it?
You're splitting hairs, mate, yeah.
Yeah, 156, 157 mil. Two things, I suppose. I'll jump in my thoughts before I let you guys run the gauntlet. But it's I like the length of the deal for LeBron. I like the fact they didn't have to give up anything to bring in LeBron. So all that young youth is still there.
Yeah, you want the young youth.
Well, oi.
We ain't about that old youth in LA.
That's right. That's right.
We about that young youth.
We got that young youth, y'all.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so I kind of like that. I was thinking, though, when the LeBron deal went down, I was just kind of like you don't need to rush it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to rush this free agency. You could probably get away with a year with just LeBron and, the kids around him and see where everyone's tracking as far as development goes. I mean, I don't hate any of the other moves. I think it's great. I think it actually puts you right back in the thick of things. Really, that lineup's even a lot better than that Cleveland team from last season in the East. But
yeah,
I'm interested to see what happens at the center position. I've got a feeling maybe you guys will bring back Brook Lopez. But, man, it's interesting. I mean, like I said at the top of the show, it's, you guys have been bad for a while now. Had some bad players and bad coaches, so it's good to see LA sort of back on top. Even if I'm not the biggest LA fan, it still adds. I just got a feeling we're going to have Boston LA NBA Finals this year, and that would just be crazy.
That be amazing.
That would be crazy. And then the storylines behind that, Irving against LeBron. I mean, you know how it goes.
Why do you hate the Lakers?
No, I don't hate the Lakers.
Well, you just said you weren't a big fan.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan.
Why?
Because I'm a Grizzlies fan.
Yeah, because we've just done so much to the group. We've got nothing to do with your pitiful franchise.
The amount of times Kobe Bryant embarrassed my Grizzlies in LA, right in the face of Rudy Gay, not appreciated, okay? Don't need to turn around, jump shot in Rudy Gay's face when you're up 20, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Well, you do, because that's the aim of the game. That's the aim of the game, to put the ball in the fucking basket, you dick.
2 Laker fans on here. We don't need a third. Proceed with your Laker
I'm not
victory
telling
dance.
you to go for him. I just want to know why the hatred. But anyway, up yours. I like the Rondo edition. I think playoff Rondo is good. I think he's going to be excellent for Lonzo Ball. Bit of a mentorship there.
Is Lonzo injured?
Yes, torn meniscus.
Right.
Allegedly.
Don't mention it again.
Didn't want to get traded, huh?
Shut up. He's not getting traded. LeBron is on record saying he likes Lonzo's game. Lonzo is staying.
Okay.
JaVale McGee, I can take him or leave him. I'm not fast. Lance Stevenson, I like it. It's playoff experience because we're going back to the playoffs, everyone. But I think our biggest improvement, here's what I love, actually. All last season, all we hear on Twitter from, even though they hate the Lakers, these people are like, oh, I hate the Lakers, but geez, their young core's good. Kuzma's going to be a gun. Ingram's going to be a gun. Hart's pretty good. 50-50. They were all 50-50 on Lonzo. Kid's going to be a star. You can book it. But now we get LeBron. Oh, he's not going to win with this young trash team. The Lakers were trash last year. Really? Kyle Kuzma was trash, was he? Ingram averaged double figures, like nearly 16 a game. That's where the improvement's going to come from. Kuzma is only going to be better. Ingram, if he's around, will be better. Josh Hart will be better. Lonzo will be better. You add the best player in the world. We're going deep. Deep. Into the playoffs.
Ooh. Oh, a few playoffs, sweet.
Deep. I tell you, Wayno, deep.
Oh,
Wow. I think a few of our listeners just felt violated.
the hair on the back of my neck stood up.
I couldn't even think straight for a few hours. I was just so excited. But I honestly believe that's where most of the improvement is going to come from. If we get Kawhi Leonard, which I think we will, I may not have any skin left. But but I'm talking championships, I'm telling you. But yeah, like I said, if we don't get Kawhi, the improvement will come from the youngsters. They're just going to get better. And playing with LeBron, how could you not get better? Take it away, Benson.
Yeah, look, I agree that this was such an exciting young core for us to build for the future. Whether we got LeBron or not, the future for the Lakers was extremely bright with the core that we had, the drafting that we've done. And then to add someone like LeBron to that mix, from a playmaking point of view, from just other teams knowing that these guys aren't going to get fucked around, these guys aren't going to just shy away from any sort of competition in the next season and seasons moving forward. It's gonna bring out swag that I think that they didn't even realize they had. I think that fundamentally, just simply adding him alone is such a huge game changer to any roster in the league. And then these moves that we've made. I mean, I was saying to Vince before the show when you were setting up to record, Wayne, that, you know, it's interesting that it all happened so quickly. Like all of a sudden within 24 hours, basically, we've added Lance, we've added Rondo, we've added McGee. But the reality is, in the landscape of the NBA, most teams need seasoned veterans on the roster, whether or not they're contributors and getting a lot of minutes or not. But the teams that go deep had these guys, these little integral guys who plug in and play. And you know what? LeBron just went, go get him. And we snapped him up quickly. And I think those on the outside might think we made some pretty quick decisions and wondering why. But you look at them all, they're either won championships or they've been deep in the playoffs and they bring intangibles to a team. I just think we got so much better in 48 hours. It's insane.
I really like the Lance edition. I think that's going to be a problem for opposing teams.
It's reminiscent. I mentioned it, I think, on the Courtside Facebook page. It's reminiscent of Kobe going up against LeBron in the playoffs, and then going up against Ron Artest, and then Ron Artest, joins Kobe at the Lakers, and it's this rivalry that breeds respect, and the respect is mutual, and it's not if you can't beat him, join him. It's I respect this dude's game. Let's do it together.
Interesting. Are you guys like a little bit like Vince? It was kind of funny like through the week because I don't know. It was like you just signed the best player in the world but you're almost like a little bit pissed off that, you didn't get Cousins, you didn't get Paul George. It was very weird. I suppose more the Paul George one than anything.
After about, you watch that 6-minute piece of shit film that Paul George did.
Oh, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that, yeah.
And, because I asked Benson, how was it? And he's like, oh, no, he's not coming. After Benson said that, and then I watched it, I'm like, yeah, he's not coming. And then, after the first day, he's like, no, he's not coming. And then you hear the whispers that he's going to resign. I actually didn't care in the end. So and then when we got LeBron, it was just like, Paul George, who?
Yeah.
It's weird. I was almost exactly the same. I watched that film and he seemed so grateful, and his manager was talking up Sam Presti, and they were talking up the organisation and the lifeline that they threw him. And I don't know, I just got this weird vibe. And after watching the first 2 episodes of that special, I just totally, I don't know, I was totally calm. I would have said that 80% expected him to re-sign with OKC. So I didn't go into it with big hopes. I kind of just focused all the attention for me on LeBron and Kawhi, and I still think we're going to end up with both.
I laughed so hard when I heard Paul George was doing a 3-part special on his decision, because I was just like, you know what? I think Paul George thinks he's a bigger star than he is. Like, he didn't exactly bring it last year either, Like, they got bounced pretty early in the playoffs. I mean, he basically pissed on the Pacers to get himself out of there. I mean, his rep's not great. I mean, I'm not questioning the guy's talent, but, I mean, I think he feels like he's a bigger stud than he is. And to do a 3-part special like that, for me personally, having no stakes in this whatsoever with my team, I was just like, what a toss pot.
Particularly when it was down to 2 teams. I mean, it's not like it was a massive enigma and everyone was like, oh, where's he going?
Where's he going?
Yeah.
It's like, get the fuck out of here. Come on now, Paul George.
What's with this unfinished business shit that him and Westbrook are talking about? Hashtag unfinished business.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Unfinished.
Mate, they didn't even start the business.
Mate, you know what?
Get past the first fucking round.
Let me say this. Paul George and his bloody wanky 4-year deal, 137 mil, still not going to be enough to get past Utah in the playoffs.
Yeah, they ain't getting past Utah. They ain't getting past us. They ain't getting past Rockets. The Washington Generals, no one. They're not getting past anyone.
It's crazy. Bounce off the Lakers.
Oh, before we do,
yep.
Yes, I do realise we signed KCP, but who cares?
Dude, there was rumours that Cadwell Pope was coming to Memphis, and I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, boys. I was sweating it out.
I'm forever just going to call him Cadwell.
Cadwell
Pope.
Oh, boy.
That other fucking ways. And I swear you did not go to school. You were homeschooled, man.
I hate you guys.
Yo, Cadwell.
Well, look, it wasn't all roses for Laker fans. Obviously, there was a...
No, don't do it. Don't say it, please.
It's too soon.
Look, I've got to say,
it hurts.
That was the quickest I'm on the market ever. Like, I feel like he was on the market for 2 minutes. I mean, obviously, to bring in the pieces they brought in, they had to let go of Julius Randle. He signed a 2-year deal with the Pelicans so fast, Woj hadn't even finished writing the Twitter report yet. I mean...
you know what was as quick?
What's that?
Was Boogie saying, I'm out, as soon as that deal happened.
I don't know. I've heard some mixed reports with Boogie. I've heard someone reporting that he didn't get any offers at all. And then I heard that he was down to, like, Boston and LA, and that the Pelicans didn't even make a move towards him, which I can kind of understand because I do feel like they've gone quite younger as well. I mean, look, obviously Rondo's left for the Lakers, but they bring in Elfrid Payton as well on a 1-year deal. So I would have liked to see Cousins and Davis together, but I really kind of like the idea of Randle and Davis playing side by side.
It's a great signing for them.
2 years as well. 2 years, 18 mil. Pretty good deal.
I just want to say how much I enjoyed watching Julius Randle play at the Lakers. I wish Julius Randle did nothing, but the best. I hope he's like a 10-time All-Star, wins a couple of rings or something. I remember when he draft day, I was working at Target at the time. I was working with old Brenton Cunningham, and we did no work for like 2 hours. We were just down the back, hiding on our phones, watching the draft because he's a Lakers fan. And all I wanted was Julius Randle, and we got him. And he was as advertised. He was NBA ready. He had a bit of bad luck. Last year he got his body right, and he blossomed a bit, and he's only going to get better. I hope he absolutely dominates. He will. What he brings, the Pelicans fans will love him. This guy, he's just a bully. He can dribble. He can play make a little for you. He just plays so hard, and I'll fucking miss him playing for the Lakers. I absolutely loved him, but I just wish him well.
Yeah, I think I echo all that. I can't believe he was still on the board. I still couldn't believe that we picked him up, that late in the lottery. But he, when I went over to watch Kobe play before he retired, and I got to watch the Lakers versus Spurs, and then I watched the Lakers versus the Mavericks, and it was uncanny that this kid in his second year at the time was the most chiseled, was the fittest looking. He looked like a purebred. Running around against some mutts. It was incredible watching him. And he was just, clearly skill level wise, he was coming into his own, but the effort that he exuded and the rebounding and the bullying and the pushing and the positional play, it was incredible to watch firsthand. I mean, we see these guys, particularly from Australia, those of us who don't get to go over, mine was a once in a lifetime trip to see Kobe play. Most of us won't ever go see a live NBA game. And to be, almost courtside seeing a guy like him, it just made me love him and respect him even more. I really hope, like Vince said, I hope he's a perennial all-star. I hope he gets a fistful of rings, and maybe one day we get him back. He's a great player, and it's a great signing for the Pelicans.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I really like about this move is that it's all in the best interest for Randall. Last year, he didn't complain, but, I think he maybe was a little disgruntled, but took it on the chin and just put the work in coming off the bench for LA. This signing with the Pelicans gives him starters minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like this, he's only going to get better as the season goes on this year, I think. And look, I still think the Pelicans will probably make the playoffs next year. I know they're going to miss a lot of. I suppose the biggest thing, I think it's a big leap of faith for them not re-signing Rondo. And I feel like that's a big mistake because the Rondo-Drew Holiday combo really worked for them last year. Obviously, Boogie did as well until he went down, but they still, you mentioned it, Vince, talking about LA, playoff Rondo, like it was such a difference. So I know that Elfrid Payton coming off from Orlando to Phoenix now to the Pelicans, it's a 1-year deal, but before he got traded to the Suns, he was starting to break out with triple-double game. And
you're right.
I just feel like this kid just... I mean, I'm not sure what the hell was going on in Orlando, and I feel like that's the reason why, some heads rolled at the end of the season. But I feel like they should have really stuck with this kid, and I feel like this could work out very well for the Pelicans. Because I don't think they should shy away from Drew Holiday at the two-guard position.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, me too. I agree on that. And it's always a good sign when a player cuts his hair. It really is.
You don't miss the dreadlock wave?
I know you haven't been to the barbers for many a year, but look, Elfrid cut his hair. It means he's serious. He's starting to mature a bit. He's worrying about his game more than his hair. It's always a good sign.
Definitely.
Always a good sign. Yeah.
Well, we should get into, the biggest move that has happened to sort of end off the day, and that is DeMarcus Cousins joining the Golden State Warriors. I mean, you know what? I got to tip my hat to you two because you two brought it up and I sort of questioned it and argued against it, that the injury would affect his stock, and it certainly felt that way. And the amount of teams that, seemed to be interested were either on the DL or non-existent, but a 1-year, $5.3 million deal for the Warriors to replace JaVale McGee with DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, the beauty of this is they don't need to rush him back.
Well, that's lucky for them because they can't.
But to me,
the difference between JaVale and Boogie at the moment, for all we know, is that one's got 2 functional ACLs. I mean, look, Achilles. They don't know what they're getting, and they're already saying that they're not expecting him to take the court until January, February at the earliest. So I don't know. It's like maybe an insurance policy that they can maybe they can impress him as an organisation and then and get him back and retain him after the contract. Maybe they just wanted to get him before anybody else did.
First, I want to say, I'm a massive Boogie fan. I'm really happy for Boogie going there. And if he gets a ring out of it, I'll be freaking stoked for him as long as they don't knock us out of the Western Conference Finals. But I would be super happy for him.
Hang on. That's the only way he's getting the ring is through us. So you don't wish him that well.
I do. I love Boogie. But I'm looking at it this way. Look, I put myself in Boogie's shoes. And he's a big unit. He's done his Achilles. Maybe in the back of his mind, he's thinking, I don't know if I'm going to return the way I used to be. I could probably get a ring out of this. That's good on him. If that's what he thinks, he's going to get, I'd do it too. But I just want to say, just be careful. They need to be really careful because remember the 2000 New York Yankees? They were winning
Don't we all?
They were winning World Series after World Series, right? And they stopped winning because they got a bit greedy. They kept signing all these good players, and it just stopped working. What I'm saying is, can you imagine Draymond Green barking at DeMarcus Cousins all the time? And I understand Draymond Green recruited him heavily, but DeMarcus Cousins is already slow on defense. He's probably going to be a little slower. DeMarcus, you can probably get away with it once or twice. You keep doing it to DeMarcus, he ain't going to take that shit, and he will not be good in the locker room if that's happening.
That's true.
You've got to be real careful with DeMarcus, and that's the only downside I can see. He'll fit right in. I mean, the guy is an excellent passer of the ball.
Hold. Stop the presses. Are you saying that potentially, if it's not going DeMarcus's way, he may have an attitude problem about it?
Here's the thing. He put up with so much shit in Sacramento, carried that pitiful, piss-poor franchise that was run by some goofballs, and now this other goofball. And not Vladdy, by the way. I was
going to say, hang on a second. You put an asterisk there. Don't you dare say that about Vladdy.
No, I love Vladdy. I've even got a Vladdy jersey T-shirt from the Lakers days, but yeah, I'm talking about this.
Vladdy awesome.
I'm talking about.
Will you two watch your Vladdy selves? Continue.
I'm gonna Vladdy right now.
Would you let him Vladdy talk?
Yeah, you Vladdy idiot.
Oh, bloody hell.
we sound like three old wogs. The old wog podcast. Bloody hell.
It's like my dad's on the podcast. Fucking. But anyway, yeah, you could understand why he was frustrated, right? Sure. And lashed out. But it'll happen in Golden State if they fucking ride him. Because guess what? You know you're getting a guy who didn't really play some defense, who'd never ran up the court as hard as he should. So deal with it. You're still going to win fucking probably 70 games. Just fucking deal with it. Because I'd take him in a heartbeat. But you take him, you know what you're getting.
I think
it's just mainly on one end, the offensive end.
I think Stu kind of alluded to it. It's this deal is like low risk, high reward, really.
Big time,
100%.
Like it's a steal. It's an absolute smashing if it works out. Like, and look, DeMarcus. If it works out, DeMarcus gets himself a chip, and then he gets a big payday after that, and he's an NBA champion.
Well, clearly that's in his mind. I mean, if he didn't do the Achilles, I mean, he was giving him, 25, 12, and 5? He was in for a massive payday.
Yeah.
I know Magic called him at midnight. I think he was the second call after LeBron.
Well,
he did call him, and I think he offered him a deal which was nowhere near $5 million. It was probably around the $2 million mark. But if he didn't do his Achilles, I dare say it would be DeMarcus and LeBron they were talking about.
Yeah. Interesting. It's
going to be a great NBA season.
But it's kind of funny. Like you're right though. Like it's still got to gel. It's still got to work on the court. I mean, we just we just stopped finishing. Wait, that doesn't work. We just. What am I trying to say? We just. Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's fair. We just stopped talking about OKC and those three superstars. You can't see I'm doing the asterisk, but asterisk. And it didn't pan out for him last year. It didn't work at all. So the potentially there is that there. I mean, I suppose the upside to Golden State is they can just sit him. I mean, they're still the champs.
Let's say he gets mobile, he gets active, he's working on his fitness as we've been seeing in his Instagram videos and things like that. Let's say he hits the court February, March, and they get 2 months, 3 months to gel. Has there ever been a roster, a starting five like this in NBA history?
It's literally, potential-wise, it's scary, I think.
I was thinking that before. No, I don't think there has. Yep, you're right. It's fucking unbelievable.
They would be starting Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, and Boogie Cousins. That is 5 All-Stars. I cannot remember in my lifetime of watching and being a fan of that ever occurring.
Dude,
and you're getting them potentially prime, and there's nothing that compares to it in my mind. Nothing.
Actually, Benson, there is. Just want to take you back to Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know what it is,
we
though.
had 4, didn't we?
We had 4.
You know what potentially this Warriors lineup is, though, don't you? It's the Team USA B squad. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's scary.
And that's pretty scary.
And he'll fit. Like I said, he'll fit in. He will fit in. No worries. He's he's unselfish, but you can't ride him.
Do they also go and get themselves Dwight Howard? I mean, if he's sidelined and rehabbing for the next 6 months, and they're not going to get him back until February, March. I mean, they're not going to run. They're not going to go into the season surely with just Zaza and playing Bell and
they've got Damian Jones.
Oh, okay, they've got Jones as well.
What about Looney?
I don't know.
Looney as well? I feel like it's Looney.
Yeah, they've got Looney.
Yeah.
Body wise, Kevin's probably more of a 4, but I mean, just in terms of his weight. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I just think I guess we'll probably jump to the East Coast, and that parlays into the Dwight Howard sweepstakes if there is such a thing. But I don't know. Interesting that again they've got Boogie on contract, but they don't get Boogie for a long time.
Yeah.
But David West, what's he up to?
Chilling.
I wouldn't mind bringing David West in. Good locker room guy.
Yeah, Big Al Jefferson just hit the market as well.
That's true. Question.
Oh, yes.
Question.
Yes.
You brought it up, Stu, so I'm going to run with it. Look, I was just sort of thinking today, with the signing, I suppose, of DeMarcus to Golden State, I feel like the teams that could use Dwight Howard are slowly eliminating the teams that, because there's teams in like full rebuild mode that don't need Dwight Howard, don't want Dwight Howard. Yep. And certainly, we touched on it last show quite a bit, like you've got to be some kind of pain in the ass, to be averaging, 16 and 12 for the Charlotte Hornets and get booted. Like, if Brooklyn doesn't want you, something's up, right?
Well, Brooklyn do want him, but he doesn't want Brooklyn.
Is that...
So, yeah, he asked for the buyout, yeah.
Is that true? I thought Brooklyn...
I heard he asked for the buyout.
Traded for him with the intentions of buying him out.
Really? Oh, okay, I thought he asked. So that's okay, yeah, well, who cares? It's Dwight Howard. He's a dick. Yeah, fuck. I'm really afraid he's coming to my team, but yeah, well, who's left? Wayno, tell us who's left. Washington.
Washington's a good fit. I feel like that's the thing. I'm looking at was looking at both conferences today, and I was literally going, well, I don't think there's a handful of teams. I mean, I suppose the Spurs could use him, but I just couldn't see him working with Pop. Pop would kill him.
See, I think Pop's one guy that could get through to him.
I don't know, man. I thought that maybe Golden State would be a good fit for him because he's a joker. He wants to, he wants to stuff around, and he could probably get away with it in Golden State. they'd be pissed with him because at least with those guys, they do celebrate a lot, they do enjoy themselves, and they do win a lot of games, but they also have that switch. Do you know what I mean? They also have that switch that when it's go time, and Dwight doesn't have that.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Boston, but then they drafted that numbskull they've got, and Baines re-signed for 2 years, so I don't know if even he's a fit in Boston right now either.
But I love that Boston guy. What's his name? Robert Williams?
So I just find it funny. Like, I
love him already, man. I love these troublemakers. They're just awesome.
He missed his conference call with Ainge and the owner after the draft because he slept in. He missed his first practice.
He fucking was out partying, wasn't he? I love it. I love this guy already.
And Danny Ainge is basically like, yep, they're basically going to handle that behind closed doors. He's going to cop a stern warning to, and man. Ooh.
We're not going to have another Robert Swift on our hands, are we?
Possibly.
No.
It's just kind of thing, like, the players in Boston will out him. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's too many workers there.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is, but I don't know. Hopefully it's just a maturity thing, not a laziness thing.
All I can say is enjoy the G League, buddy.
Yeah, big time.
Enjoy the G League. That's where you're heading right now. So, yeah, no man's land for Dwight, basically.
Yeah, I can't see him going anywhere except really Washington or NBL, maybe. Maybe come here at NBL. Maybe Sean Marion will sign him at the Breakers.
No, he's joining LeVar Ball's league.
Well, it's $3,000 a month and 60% of jersey sales. That's not bad.
Poor Dwight. Bloody hell.
He might end up in China.
The short money on Twitter is Pelicans.
Oh, he can't go there.
Don't like that.
Wizards.
It'll be the Wiz you watch.
Lakers.
I can't see him going back to LA. I can't see LA after what he left. I suppose Mitch isn't there, but still.
Yeah, I don't know. Statistically wise, he wasn't that bad for us. I mean, obviously, he and Kobe not on the same page. He and Nash had their falling outs. But, I mean, LeBron's a different guy. This team's full of youngsters. Walton's a great coach. I don't know. It could work. I'm not completely against it.
Wow.
I am.
I know you are. I'm not.
I'd rather fucking John Concac.
Now, John Concac, or
now, yeah, well, he'd be better. He'd probably still at the J in the free throws. So, can I just give a shout out to? I'm going to give a shout out to Keelan King, who I have just been stirring up today like nobody's business. He was giving Laker fans a bit of shit on Twitter. Someone mocked up a statue out the front of the stables, like a Photoshop of LeBron James, and he was a bit antsy about it, and I said, feel free to put one up on fucking Jose Calderon. Because that's who they signed.
1 year, $2.4 million deal. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Playoffs. I love Keelan King, but I stirred him up today. I said, geez, a perfect centre for this team would be Mr. Drummond, and I knew he'd comment, and straight away I got him. He's like, there's not enough English swear words right now. But I am serious, though. I'd love to see Andre Drummond in a Lakers jersey. But yeah, shout out to Keelan King. He's a lot of fun, and check him out at Rip City Bad Boys.
Indeed.
It's Portland and Detroit podcast. Have your windows up if you're in the car because, I got caught one day with the windows down.
Profanity.
And Keelan King was just swearing his ass off and had this old couple beside me. It was summertime, windows down. I'm like, ooh. Ooh.
That's brilliant.
Windows up.
What the hell? Like, there's all these moves going on. All these moves have been happening, and we still haven't had any resolution to Kawhi Leonard.
Give it time, mate.
It's you know what I think happens? I think Spurs just hang on to him till the trade deadline. Like, they'll basically waste half his season.
It's interesting. So clearly they weren't interested in Randall.
They're not interested in the Lakers. That's the problem.
No, don't be stupid, please.
That's what they've said all along.
They're just bluffing. Look,
You got to pony up, Vince. You got to pony up the assets if you want him.
we fucking are. We're offering Ingram and Josh Harden 2 fucking picks.
No, need more than that. Need more than that to get it done. Come on now.
Well, we offered Randall and Ingram.
Need more than that.
Listen, you know what, Spurs? Keep him for another year and get nothing for him.
I think that's the plan. Out of spite.
Bloody hell, we'll take it because Ingram's only going to get better.
I've heard Philly obviously is
They're not
keen to bring him on.
Before you go on,
Right.
they want Kawhi Leonard, and then in the next breath they turn around and go, "We want Kawhi Leonard, but we're not willing to give up Embiid, Simmons, or Fultz." Well, guess what? You're not getting fucking Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought if they gave up maybe Fultz, Saric, and Covington, that would get it done.
How is that better than Ingram, Josh Harden?
Well, it's not. Look, I literally had this conversation with, of course, I remember Kalen Woods the other night on Facebook. You know, it's just like the thing they want with that though is they want some picks. Do you know what I mean? That's going to get it done. They won't budge on that as well. Like, they're going to ask for the stars. Of course they are. You got to remember also, I mean, I know he doesn't want to be there, and I know he's come out publicly and said that, you know, LA is the place he wants to be. But you know what? Paul George did the same thing. Look how that panned out. Do you know what I mean? He's just...
Yeah, but we didn't tamper with Paul George. We haven't tampered Kawhi Leonard.
Yet. There's still plenty of time.
We're banning Magic from all television shows.
Yeah, man,
But
Magic,
it's that
stay
thing,
off.
you know, like that's like you got to. I was saying to Callan, like you also got to remember the player they're giving up. Do you know what I mean? A Finals MVP, multiple All Star, like this guy could really change the shape of it. And the last thing I think LA wants to do is give another team the opportunity for him to enjoy himself. Do you know what I mean? Like for him, like if somehow Boston got in this and Boston got out there, I'd be worried because I think that just the culture and the fans and the way they treat their players, like I think he'd really enjoy that situation. You know, like
we treat our players well. We've got great fans.
You do.
Me and Benson.
You do, but it's getting him there. It's do you know what I mean? Like you got to get him there. That's what I'm saying. I do agree with. In one stance, it's like, well, why give up the bank if they want to come here and they could just walk here next year without giving up anything? I get that, but you know, potentially, I don't think you can afford to do that with a player of this caliber. I think it's more important to get them there.
Spurs need to realise in Brandon Ingram, they're getting the kid who's just turned 20, who is 6'9", probably 10 by now. Had played the point guard position for us for about 6 months and did it really well. Averaged 16 a game. Is as long as
I get that. I get that, and I agree with you. But that's still a potential player. Do you know what I mean? Like that's still he's not proven. He hasn't proven anything.
And potentially, Kawhi could fucking blow out his quad again.
He could. Ingram could do the same fucking thing though. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like.
Have you seen Brandon Ingram?
Dude.
Man, he I don't think he even has a quad muscle.
Look,
He's working on it.
all I'm saying is, look, even if they're trying to bluff the Lakers, which is a very probable thing, I still feel like you need to give up more to get a deal done. Do you know what I mean? Like
I'll tell you what, the longer they wait, the worse it gets. They're going to get worse at the trade deadline. They're going to get nothing for him at the end of the season. I think they should pull it before the season starts. The Lakers need to get a third team involved because they obviously need some draft picks. We should send Deng. We should stretch Deng, and we should send his expiring to a team that can wait it out a season. And when that comes off the books, and we pay the residual on it, and we'd be happy to do that over, 10 seasons or whatever it might be. You know, we get a third team involved and get in their fucking picks. Give them BI. I think we give them Hart. I think it happens before the season starts.
See, I don't think, that's totally probable. You know, I don't feel like Spurs are in any rush. I mean, there's another team in LA that's slowly. I mean, maybe they're looking at the clips and just going, "Hey, look, let's see what else they can put together." I mean, they only need to wait.
The Clippers have no chance of getting Kawhi Leonard.
All I'm saying is they'd be prepared to give up more. They're slowly acquiring.
They've got no more. What can they give up?
Mate,
Tell me. Give me
and
this
the other
wonderful package that they've got to give up to get Kawhi Leonard. Please enlighten me.
All I'm saying, Vince, is that the Spurs are in no. Dude, shut the fuck up and let me talk.
No,
sake.
because they're fucking shit. It's a shit package. They can't match our package.
Fucking, you know what? I hope he goes to the Clippers. Oh, fucking hope they traded the Clippers now. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Fuck you. Go and enjoy
Fucking
your
Gronk.
Jackson.
Fuck
Stick
you.
creature. Go on.
You fucking Gronk. Stick a fucking pickle up your ass. Fuck you.
What?
Jeez, this got random.
Jeez, a pickle up my ass. What the fuck do you do with pickles, Wayne?
Stu, speak on quiet. Let's do this.
Yeah, Wayne, Stu, could you find out what wonderful package Clippers have got? Thanks.
I don't know. All I've got in my head is package and pickles, and it's confusing. What I will say is that I think Kawhi's management and Kawhi's team around him have pumped the Lakers as the only destination so much that I think it is totally sabotaged the Spurs' ability to trade with anybody else. I don't think anyone, even if they could get a package that was better than what we could send them, I don't think anybody is going to do it because they know it's a rental. It's just, I really don't think Kawhi's team's probably done the best thing by him. If they'd have played it a little bit quieter, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they've honed in on LA, and it's LA or bust.
Well, look, let's see what plays out with Kawhi Leonard and jump into some honourable mentions. Some honourable mention moves that went down also. Probably not worth the airtime, but we can stop on anyone you want. Obviously, Austin Rivers traded to the Wizards for Marcin Gortat.
Yawn.
I like Rivers, so yeah, it's a good pickup for Washington.
Yeah. Will Barton signs a 4-year, $54 million deal with the Nuggets.
That's a lot of coin for Will, isn't it?
No, new economy. Cheap.
Great deal, Will. Well done, mate.
Jokic signs a 5-year.
They had to bring him back. He played great for them at the end.
He did. That is true.
Jokic gets his big payout, 5-year, 148. Got to bring the kid back. Can't lose that.
Yeah, you do. I must admit, I do like him.
Well, he's the franchise guy there now, right? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, him and Murray.
Yeah.
Look, some retread in San Antonio. Marco Bellinelli heading back, and Rudy Gay re-signs for the single season.
Yeah, well, Gay.
We've already touched on Ersan with his 3-year, $21 million.
That's just
in Mallory land.
Yeah. Mallory even got that done.
Yep. We touched on Trevor Ariza, Aaron Baines. What about Derrick Rose back for another year with the Timberwolves on a 1-year deal?
Wait, whatever activates that Adidas contract.
Yeah, I know, right?
Can I just read a tweet I got from Timberwolves Explosion before?
Oh.
With my good man Joey there. Where is it?
It'll be on Twitter.
Thanks. Pass it.
Maybe
Still love you, Benson.
Get that pickle out of your ass.
It's just weird. I've never eaten pickles again. So take it with a grain of salt. But this is from Hoop Central via Timberwolves Explosion tonight. Derrick Rose recently saw a fan outside near a physical therapy facility. Well, where else are you going to see him, really?
Oh, God.
Sorry, Derek. The fan repeatedly told D. Rose, "You the man." D. Rose responded, "Nah, man, I wish. Not anymore. I wish."
Yeah, no, not fine.
Sad face.
And the kid blacked out his face so you couldn't see him as well. Like, if you're going to do that, at least fucking show your face.
Maybe he had a pickle up his ass.
I'm calling bullshit on that tweet. I've heard that. I saw it earlier in the week as well. I think that's BS.
Oh, okay.
Plus, you know what? Fuck it. 1-year deal. D-Rose played pretty well for him last year, especially in the playoffs. So it's a fucking good deal.
He's still a good NBA player.
Yep, 100%.
Like it. It's good for them.
Sorry.
Totally happy. That's a cheap ex-NBA MVP.
Yep. They also bring in Anthony Tolliver back for another run around with the Timberwolves.
Who's my friend on Facebook?
Indeed, he is.
He is.
Hates me. He loves you.
Big GT. Nah, he likes everyone. He's a good lad.
The Pacers bring in Doug McDermott, 3 years, $22 million.
Why can't Dougie just find a home and make it home for a few years? I like Dougie. I just want him to find somewhere and just become that really good role player.
I like the outside shooting. It adds to that Indiana Pacers team.
He's a bit inconsistent. If he can get a bit more consistency into his shooting, I'd love that.
Mm.
I love the fact that Indiana have finally signed a 6'8" white guy who can shoot. I think they have a quote going into every season. Can we get 3 of those?
What about Aaron Gordon? Re-signing with the Magic, 4 years, 84 mil. I mean, don't have any problem with the actual contract and the years and stuff, but I don't know. I thought he would have looked to get out of Dodge and maybe get out of Orlando. I mean, I know they just drafted Mo Bamba, and there's been rumours of Isaiah Thomas maybe going to Orlando, running the point.
Oh, they'll love Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
So, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of... it's so hard with Gordon because he's such a tweener. Do you know what I mean? Is he playing the power forward? Is he playing the small forward?
Yep.
And
that's
then,
my issue with him.
But I do like the idea of, being a bit of a younger team and him, playing alongside Mo Bamba. I think that's interesting anyway.
I hope they do.
I think the fans deserve a young core. Good on them.
I hope they do get Isaiah Thomas, because one thing when he played for us last season, he really set up guys nicely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really surprised with that. So I hope they get him, because I hope he just has a good run now, Isaiah.
JJ Redick, 1 year deal, back in Philly.
Like it. They need him.
Philly, the thing with Philly, they've lost a lot of shooters. Outside shooters. I think that's something they need to look at. The management seems very on the ball, and they did the right thing, before they headed into playoffs by bringing in outside shooters. It's just that a lot of those guys are now left, so I think they just need to look to do that again this year.
On the other hand, Fultz is coming back, and he's got a really good shot.
Does he, though?
He does. He does.
The joke's just landing.
Derek Favors tested the market but decided to go back to Utah on a 2-year, 36 mil.
Yeah,
he's handy.
Yeah, he played really well in the playoffs for him.
Super Mario signs with the Knicks, 1 year, 6.5 mil.
What a joke.
Jesus.
What a joke.
Phil got very emotional on Facebook, mate, when you were talking about Super Mario.
I don't know why, because he's shit.
He got very uppity, and it was like, whoa. It's not like Phil. Phil's usually quite placid and chilled.
I don't know why he got emotional. I don't know what he thinks Mario Hezonja is going to do at New York. And get his average up from 2 to 3. Oh, well done.
Jesus. A signing that pissed off a lot of Portland fans online. Ed Davis bounces to Brooklyn. Poor Portland.
How do teams keep getting Ed Davis so cheap? The guy is a good player. Like,
it's crazy.
Drives me mental.
Mate, you and me, I must be missing something. I think what you get out of him, his production is amazing.
Me and you are the only fans that like Ed Davis.
I think we might be, man. Honestly, I can't believe his jersey collection.
I think we're all in on Ed Davis. I was a huge fan when he was playing for Memphis. He played great for us. I was pissed off when he left. Didn't he go from Memphis to LA?
Yeah,
I think he started Toronto, Memphis, LA.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Just keeps getting cheap contracts.
Yeah. But yeah, Portland fans were really pissed at him apparently. It's like, man, you're Portland. Settle down.
True, you don't win.
You never sign anyone except for Evan Turner. And who cares?
Yes, for like $80 million, which was money well spent.
Yeah.
That's like the Jan Mahinmi contract. God, that sucks.
And look, the final one I touch on is one was a bit disappointed that Memphis didn't get their shit together. Avery Bradley, 2 year, 25 mil with the Clippers. He would have fit nicely with the Grizz, but we have Chris Wallace, so that was not going to happen. Oh, God. I'm okay.
You also missed Seth Curry signing with Portland.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that was the big one today. That broke the internet.
I did not miss it. I just didn't want to talk about it.
Okay. Seth's all right.
Oh, yeah.
He's a role player, man. You can't compare him to his brother. How's it going to be around Christmas when they go around to Dell's and Steph rocks up with his 3 championship rings and Seth's got nothing?
Do you think he wears them all? Do you think he wears them all to the Christmas dinner? Like, he sits
100%.
He sits at the table just like making that tapping noise with all 3 just to piss him off.
And pickles in his other hand.
Pickles and gherkins. And, whoa.
Yeah. Oh. know who does that? Robert Horry. Robert Horry goes to his brother's house, Peter Horry, and doesn't let up. Yeah, he was a school teacher. Just gives him so much shit.
Yeah.
It's a school teacher. Substitute school teacher.
I don't know if any of that's true, but sibling rivalry, huh? You can't beat it.
That was gold.
I'll tell you what, though, guys. With all the deals that were mentioned, I think it's very glaringly obvious that with the King out of the East for the first time in his career, the East is completely up for grabs.
Yeah, man.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Here it comes.
Watch out!
Ball